Hey, welcome to the John A. McCabe Show, where it's all about accelerating your authority in your business or field of expertise. And we do that by helping entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed on any device, anywhere, anytime, with as little as 1 hour of work a week for 100 days straight, also known as the Authority Acceleration Formula. Now on today's show, Real Estate Investing Mondays, my guest is someone who's just killing it right now when it comes to the number of deals he's putting together each and every month. So what's the reason for his success or sudden rise in the number of opportunities that he gets? He's put together a system, marketing system for leads and opportunities, as well as placing offers on a large number of properties every single month. Some might call it the spaghetti on the wall strategy. Now, I met Pat approximately 2 years ago at, believe it or not, a marketing conference. Yeah, two real estate investors meeting up at a marketing conference. And it's because of Pat's continuous learning in the field of marketing that's enabled him to skyrocket his business. Now, Pat's a best-selling author of the book, The Miracle Morning for Network Marketers. And he's also been selected as one of the top mentors in the direct selling industry by a leading industry publication. And he's also spoken internationally to crowds of thousands and has consulted to many network marketing companies on compensation plan design, duplication model development, and field development strategies. Now, Pat and his wife, Emily, operate a successful real estate investment company in Phoenix, Arizona area that specializes in both short-term and long-term investment properties. Now, Pat runs an online course that teaches people how to build wealth through real estate investment. So Pat focuses on homeowners who are in a distressed situation or they have a distressed property and look to get them out of a tough situation and lock up that property with a contract. Now, once Pat gets the house under contract, he'll either wholesale it to a number of investors that he works with for either $5,000 to $10,000 a pop, or he'll keep some of them for his very own portfolio, either fixing them up and flipping them or holding them for cash flow. Now, as a result of Pat's success, he's had many other investors wanting to know his secrets to his shortcut to finding great leads and how do we find so many of them. So because of that, Pat has put together a training program where he teaches and helps other real estate investors the basics of finding leads in real estate. So today, I'm going to get the inside scoop from Pat himself on the 3 top lead sources for his real estate investing business and how a new investor just getting started, or maybe even a veteran investor can open up the floodgates to an abundance of opportunities, which will enable them to close on more deals in a shorter amount of time. So be sure to stick around, because when I come back, I'll be joined by my good friend, Pat Petrini. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. I have a very special guest with us, someone who's just tearing it up in real estate investing in his home city of Phoenix, Arizona. So much so that there's even whispers of duplicating his operations into other cities and other states right now. Pat Petrini is a best-selling author, a top mentor in the direct selling space, international speaker, consultant for some of the top network marketing companies, and a very successful real estate investor who also helps other investors find some leads and opportunities. So please give it up with a flurry of likes, loves, share this video, give it up with some thumbs up and some hearts running across the screen for my guest today, Pat Petrini. Hey Pat, how you doing?
Hey John, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me on. I'm excited to be here with you.
Excellent, thanks for joining us. So how are things down in Arizona? You're in Phoenix, right? Just a surprise?
Yep, in Phoenix right at the moment. Yeah, Surprise is the technical part of Phoenix that we live in. My wife and I here in the Northwest, and yep. It's beautiful here. It's great. Weather's great. It's a little overcast today. We're having a good day.
So things are going well in your real estate career?
Yeah, absolutely. Real estate is cranking right now. It's a great. We're past a lot of the craziness of the previous few years, and now things are just kind of level. It's a very normal market here in Phoenix, and which is, always every market has pros and cons, but there's a lot of opportunity right now in the market here.
Excellent. So Pat, before we get too deep into the questions, I'm sure you watched an episode or two before. What I like to do, the very first thing I like to do is called a speed round of questions.
Yeah.
So it just gets people to know you a little bit better. So it's just a series of 10 questions. You don't have to study or anything, so it should be pretty easy. So what I like the guests to do is to play along. So when I ask the question, if you could just type in your answer into the chat, that would be great. Let's see how your answers compare to Pat's. So just please play along with us. So are you all ready, Pat? We're going to get going?
I'm ready.
All right. Number one, name the book that impacted your life the most.
First one that comes to mind is Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. That one really changed my philosophy a lot. Excellent. So when you were a young boy, who was your celebrity crush? Probably, what's the actress's name in the movie Speed?
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock, yeah. It would probably be Sandra Bullock.
A little unknown fact, did you know I was actually in a movie with Sandra Bullock?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Sandra Bullock and Dennis Leary, I was in a movie called 2 by Sea. I was an extra and actually was there when she was filming some of her scenes. So anyway.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what is the book or podcast or show that you're into right now?
Book that I'm into right now is called, let's see, I'm using it to prop up my camera here. It's called The Quantum Brain. So nothing real estate related or anything like that, but just fascinating stuff about how the brain works and quantum physics and things like that.
Nice. So do you currently work with any coaches?
Physically right now, a coach I guess like the coach at our CrossFit gym that we go to. Okay. That's the only coach that I'm working with right now regularly.
Okay. So what's your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time? I would say one of anyway would be Patch Adams.
Okay. Yeah, that was a great movie.
Yeah.
Are you currently involved in any masterminds?
Currently any masterminds? No, I'm actually not active in any mastermind right at the moment. There's an Arizona mastermind that a few friends and I have put together here, but I've just been out of town so much, so we haven't been in a while.
Yeah. So name the person, either dead or alive, who you'd most like to meet and have dinner with.
Probably would be I would say Richard Feynman.
Okay. I think I know the answer to this next question based on your Facebook pictures, but
all right.
Name the type of vacation that you like the most, beach or adventure tour?
Yeah, you probably do. Probably something that involves like hiking or adventure tour, I guess. Yeah.
So what's the best business advice you ever received?
I think the best business advice that I ever received was to have a mentor. Because I think that in every point where I've had kind of some level of success or whatever, I've been able to point to who my mentor was at that time, and I just think that is if there's ever a shortcut to success in anything, it's having a mentor that can guide you through it.
And right now you're just in between coaches and mastermind groups?
Yeah, it's funny because I'm saying that is how important mentorship is, and even though we haven't been as active in masterminding and coaching and stuff lately, but it's something that I absolutely believe is extremely critical.
Yeah, so do I. So the last question is a two-parter. So the first part, what do you prefer, water, beer, or wine? And the second part, is it pizza, wings, or salad?
I guess I gotta go. Tough between wine and water, but otherwise I got to go salad.
Okay, excellent. So thanks a lot for playing along, Pat. Everyone give Pat a flurry of likes and loves, and any questions that you have for Pat, just definitely type them in the comment section. We'll try to hit them up as we're going through the show today. I just want to do some acknowledgments and some shout outs before we actually get going. I know Laura, I can never pronounce Laura's last name. Saraker? Laura, I've known Laura for years and I can't even pronounce her last name. That's how bad it is. So Laura, thanks for joining us. Laura's joined several times. Bonnie Bolesky's on, and Bonnie made a comment. John, looks like you're doing great. Thanks, Bonnie. And Dean Mosier's on, and Duncan Binney is on from across the pond over in Europe. So thanks for joining us, guys. And
Awesome.
if you're just joining us, I'm speaking with Pat Petrini. Pat's a best-selling author, a top mentor in the direct selling space, international speaker, consultant for some of the top network marketing companies, and a very successful real estate investor who also helps other investors find more leads and opportunities. So Pat, can you give the viewers who might not know you or your origin story, just give us 2 or 3 minutes of sort of who is Pat Petrini, where you came from, sort of getting into the real estate space, the network marketing, the real estate, sort of how that is all transitioned. If you could just sort of give me your origin story, that would be great.
Yeah, you bet. So really kind of my background, a lot of my background is in the network marketing and direct sales space. I was kind of recruited into a sales company right after high school in a direct sales company and worked with them for about 4 years. And then I kind of moved, was introduced to more of the network marketing kind of concept, and had a great mentor that had introduced me to network marketing, and we built a good business there, and we're there for quite a few years. And then eventually, when the economy turned, there were a lot of factors that happened, but when the economy turned, it kind of really smacked that company that I was with pretty hard, and as well as our personal finances, and as happened with a lot of people around that time. And so Emily and I, over the course of a couple years after the economy turned, we kind of lost everything and then some, as far as being way upside down on some properties we owned and all this other kind of stuff. Typical 2008 story basically. Yeah. And we found ourselves totally starting over from much less than zero at that point, and we were kind of looking for what was going to be sort of our next thing that we could do to make some fun money and kind of get back on top. And then real estate ended up being that answer for us. We had some friends here in the Phoenix area that had already been very successful in real estate and had done bought a lot of rentals, done a lot of flips, and done kind of all areas of real estate here. So we kind of really, again, the importance of having a mentor, really kind of worked with them and got things going here. And we were able to get things going pretty quickly. So now we've been doing real estate for, full-time-ish for the last few years, and we've done over 50 or 60 fix and flips ourselves, and we own rentals, and then we're now switching to a little bit more of wholesaling currently, but we still do fix and flips. We have 2 that we are in the middle of right now, and so anyway, that's kind of the entrepreneurial roller coaster, that so many people have experienced as well, and we're grateful to be in a good part of that roller coaster right now.
Excellent. So when you got into the space, did you take some formal training, education with real estate investing, or you just connected with some people that were doing it at the time? What was your
kind of all of the above? I mean, I've over the years I'd invested in a lot of courses and seminars and stuff, so I had a lot of that kind of basic education as far as the nuts and bolts of how to do real estate investing for the most part, even though I hadn't done much of it yet myself. But then, a lot of it was really plugging into some people that we knew here that were doing it, and sort of doing what they did and kind of learning from them. And the other thing, I did also, go through, I did all the classes to get my license as a realtor, but I didn't actually end up I opted not to get my license as a realtor, but those would be some formal classes, even though those don't usually teach you really anything important, but there is some formal classes. Mostly just working with people that were experienced. And then, and I would say that even though there's a lot of, really expensive seminars out there and stuff like that probably are way too overpriced, there is some good stuff out there too. And I did get some good education from some of those types of events that I went to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I invested, when I get into real estate investing, I invested upwards of $40,000 into courses, which is, typical or average of the person going to those seminar events. But you can get a lot of great knowledge, information, and education from people that are doing the business that, they may have their own courses that are less expensive, or there's less of a financial investment involved as well. So, okay, Pat, you hinted prior to coming on the show that you were going to share with us share with the guests your top 3 lead sources. Can
Right.
you tell us what they are?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one, for anybody on here that is doing real estate, the first one, you might shake your head at me, but believe it or not, one of our top lead sources right now is actually the MLS. And I know I say that because a lot of people, it's usually the first, people will say, well, the great deals are not on the MLS. Yeah. And, the MLS gets lots of flack. But there are deals on there. Now, it is a little bit more of like a needle in a haystack sort of situation. So you've got to make up for the smaller numbers, the less likelihood of getting a deal. You've got to make up for that with large numbers of offers that you're making. And so that's kind of what we do. But Phoenix is a big market. There's lots of properties to make offers on. And the MLS is an easy way to find some of those. So we're hitting the MLS pretty hard right now these days. We have always done a lot of direct mail, so that would be the second piece. And nothing too crazy, direct mail using yellow letters, and we can dive into some of the specifics and stuff. But nothing, I would say, super innovative, compared to like what you hear about at all the seminars that you go to and stuff. It's just doing a lot of it. And then the third source would definitely be referrals and I would say referrals / following up with people. So we're pretty good at, we've got a good team of realtors that we have worked with in the past that are bringing us deals if they think that it's a good deal that fits us. So there's a good referral base there that comes from realtors that we've built a good relationship with. Obviously, other homeowners that have worked with us and had a great experience. But then also just the fact that we follow up. So if we make an offer on a property, we don't just make it, and we don't get an accepted offer. We don't just ditch that property. We're circling back around in a few weeks or a month to see if it's still available, to see if it's sold yet. And I think that's a lot of people I think don't do that. And there's so many deals that end up coming through that they don't take our first offer, but then a year, or not a year, but a month or 2 months or 3 months down the road, just because of the fact that we followed up, we end up getting it. So those three would be probably our main sources right now. Yeah,
when that homeowner, when that pain gets agitated a little bit more, and every month that goes by, that pain is getting deeper and deeper, and that knife is getting closer and closer to the heart, where they're gonna bleed all over the place if they haven't been bleeding already. Bleeding money as opposed to blood, but they're bleeding, and it's going to get to a point where they just need to make something happen.
Exactly right.
So when it comes, we're going to get into each one a little bit. I'm going to ask you some specific questions about each type of those, the marketing. But so first thing I'm going to ask is about the MLS system. So what criteria are you looking at when you're targeting homes on the MLS? So is there a price range of homes that you target? Are they in specific neighborhoods? They need to be on the MLS for a specific amount of time? Like, what are some of the main criteria that you're looking at when you're targeting homes on the MLS?
Yeah, absolutely. So price range wise, we usually do kind of anything under 300 or 350,000, kind of something like that. And that's just because it's just sort of our preference. We like to stay in that price range. We don't, the way that we kind of build out our business model, we don't like going, we will go to the higher range homes, 500, 600, if there's enough margin there, but usually, those take longer to sell, and it's just a little bit bigger project, more rehab costs generally.
Just a quick question, interjection. What is the average home price in the areas that you're targeting? Are you sticking in the average home price at 300, 350? That's average?
Well, no, I mean just under 350. 300 or 350 is kind of like, kind of our ceiling of where we're usually buying. But pretty average around here is the 150 to 250 would be, different neighborhoods would kind of average kind of in that range. And that's where we're usually buying is like 200, give or take 50 grand or something like that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're targeting ones under 300 or 350, but you like around the $200,000 range.
Yeah, we'll buy anything if it's a good deal.
Exactly.
So that's just where it ends up being most of the time, is around the 200,000 range, give or take 50 grand. But that's and then we, as far as like what else we're looking for. I mean, we're not super specific to Phoenix. We'll kind of go anywhere in Phoenix. Phoenix is such a good market that we haven't really felt the need to branch out of the market yet. You know, I see a lot of people getting started in like multiple markets, and you know, sometimes I wonder if that's a good idea. Maybe we should be in other markets, but I feel like you're better off not having to relearn different markets and just focusing on one area until you really are hitting your capacity in that area. But anyway, as far as other things we're looking for on the MLS, we'll often do we change it up. You know, we've got probably 10 or 15 different strategies that we have written down that we're pursuing right now on the MLS. But like one of them would be what we call stale listings. So ones that probably have been listed for 150 days or more, and they're obviously still on there, right? So there's some reason that property isn't moving. So those are great ones that we'll go after. Some of the other things that we'll do sometimes is we will be looking for properties that are maybe like 3-bed, 1-bath, but they're the square footage wise, like maybe they're 1,200 square foot or more. So square footage wise, it seems like, you know, there's a good chance that they could accommodate a second bath, or we could build one on, add some square footage. And that's oftentimes a really good value add if you add a second bath to a 3-bedroom one, turn it into a 3-2, or if it's a 4-1 or turn it into a 4-2. So, you know, there's all these little strategies kind of like that we just kind of are always looking for. And sometimes one strategy might only, you know, another one is in the MLS notes. Sometimes the realtors will use language like handyman special, or need investor purchase, or needs rehab, needs love and care, stuff like that. And if you kind of are searching for those little terms, and you jump on those listings the second that they hit the market, sometimes you'll find a pretty good little fixer upper, or handyman special, or whatever. So there's a lot of those little niches that we kind of try to stay on top of with the MLS. Okay,
what sort of after sort of margin are you looking for? You said some of them. It's always you're going after stuff that's a good deal.
Yeah.
For you, what do you consider to be a good deal, sort of a margin, purchase price to after repair value sort of scenario?
Yeah. So what I kind of the way that I kind of look at it is I think that I want to be able to see that the investor that buys it, whether that's going to be us or if we're going to wholesale it to one of our buyers, that the investor that buys it is going to double their repair costs. Is kind of what I think is a good number to shoot for. So if this property is going to take $20,000 in repair costs, then I want to make sure that there's enough room for whoever does all the repairs and does the rehab to make $20,000 once they sell it. Okay. So it's going to be $50,000, then they need to make $50,000 in profit once they sell it. Gotcha. So that's kind of how I kind of figure what's a good deal or what's not.
Okay, excellent. So if you're just joining us, Pat Petrini is a best-selling author, top mentor in the direct selling space, international speaker, consultant to some of the top network marketing companies, and a very successful real estate investor who also helps other investors find more leads and opportunities. So if you're just joining us, please feel free to share this video on Facebook to your friends on your Facebook page, and definitely show us some love. Hit the like button, the love button. Leave some comments, some questions for Pat. And so Pat, that sort of takes care of the MLS space. So the next one you talk about is your direct marketing.
Yeah.
So specifically, what type of direct marketing are you doing? Is it like flyers, letters?
We mostly do yellow letters, and pretty straightforward. Like so, yellow letters, for anybody who's not familiar, is you're taking like a piece of paper that looks like those like lined notebook paper, kind of the half size of what we use anyways, like those half size sheets. And basically, like if you were to sit down with a pen and paper and just write a note to somebody, dear, Sally, my wife and I are interested in buying your home at this address, and then the address, please give me a call if you're open to it, something like that. And then my name, my cell phone number right there. And we actually do, because we're generally doing larger campaigns, that we actually don't do a handwritten campaign. We actually have just have it printed, and it's printed in a font that looks very convincingly handwritten, and so that's what we do currently, and it works really, really well. You get a good response, so we'll send those off to. Same thing with the MLS. We're always kind of trying different strategies and kind of bouncing around. That's one thing with real estate is that, and I suppose with anything, but you might kind of find a little vein that of marketing that works, and then maybe it'll work for a little while, and then it kind of dries up. Yeah. And maybe that's because other competitors are jumping in there, and as competitors are kind of jumping in and out. You never know what's going to be saturated and what's not. But we'll hit the foreclosure list. So people that are getting their 90-day notices that they're 90 days late on their mortgages, we use some services to pull those lists, and we'll start sending those lists. Sometimes we'll actually send out door knockers to actually be knocking on those doors and then dropping off those handwritten letters. The other list that we'll hit a lot is just out-of-state owners or non-owner occupied houses, because those are very oftentimes owned by people that are landlords that are not still happy to be landlords, right? And so we are sending them a letter just on the off chance that maybe they would love to get rid of this property that is currently rented out. Maybe they're not having a good owner experience, and we would like to take it off their hands for them. So the letters that you're sending out, the yellow letter campaign, are you addressing those directly to the homeowner? You know the homeowner's name, and you're putting that right on the envelope? Are you handwriting the envelope, or? Yeah, exactly. The envelope is handwritten ideally, or we do the printed font on the envelope right now as well. But yeah, it's written to the owner's name. We're able to pull up the owner's name on the tax records website here in most counties. You can do that. You can go to the whatever your county recorder website is, or your county assessor, and you can pull up the owner's information, and it'll have the property address, which is the property that they own. But then what you want to send these letters to is the mailing address, because the mailing address is where their property tax information gets sent to, and that's usually where they actually live, right, or a PO box or something like that. So we're trying to find people where the mailing address is different than the property address. Because we want to find people that are not actually living in the property, meaning that's either probably a vacation property or a rental property. So we're sending it to their actually mailing address that is listed on the tax records. Right. So it sounds like there's a lot of work that goes into the research and the comparison and just, the MLS stuff. Do you have a team that is doing it? Obviously, it's more than just you and your wife. If you're hitting some of these larger numbers, which we'll talk about in a little while. So do you have a team that's just, pulling that information, comparing the information, figuring out which ones to send marketing to, which ones not? Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So I have a team, and we have kind of actually sort of a couple different businesses, because I have a couple different partners that we pursue different strategies together. I have one partner that I do my fix and flips with. I have another partner that we're building some automated marketing software together. And then we've got, it's my wife and I, and then it's our assistant that is basically a full-time assistant. And she's actually starting to do a lot of some of the letter writing and some of the door knocking and stuff. And then we have other people locally that we kind of work with depending on what our needs are. But between those few partners and my wife and I and our assistant, that's most of our team, though. Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about the messaging you either put in the letters or the door knockers? So what pain do you add? Because when it comes to marketing, it's all about the message. Sure. And typically, it's about the pain, fear, frustration, or the ambition of your target market. So are you addressing a specific pain that you're trying to agitate? And what action are you asking them to take? Call you, go to a website, text you, sort of. Can you talk a little bit about the messaging and the action? Absolutely, yeah. So, the messaging is meant to be very. The messaging generally in our letters is meant to be very sort of casual, and not necessarily intimate, but I guess just very casual. It should be it should feel like it's a letter that was sent from somebody just down the road that noticed that, your house was sale or was resent to you from a neighbor down the road, not sent to you from some big company. Okay. It's not, there's no logos on it, and I don't put a website on it or anything like that for these particular letters, because I don't want it to feel like it's coming from a company. I want it to feel like it's coming from just Pat and Emily, these people down the road that are interested in buying your house, sort of thing. And the response that the letter is supposed to trigger is really just we try to write the letters to be very simple. There's not really much sales copy per se in it, because all we're trying to do is get them intrigued enough to just make a phone call. If they are in a situation where they are interested in buying or selling their house, or even interested in considering it, then we just want to see, basically, if they're willing to pick up that phone call or pick up that phone and dial you, then that probably is indicated there's some level of legitimate interest there. We probably could get, if we did more sales copy and more marketing kind of in the letters, there's a good chance you could get more people calling. But in some ways, I kind of like that you always want, ideally, I think it's good to have your marketing do some of the screening for you. Right. So I want only legitimate leads to call, that call us, because we are going to follow up with everybody. And I'd rather not just the curious lookers. I'd like to minimize those whenever possible.
So who's handling the phone calls?
So most of the phone calls are handled by, actually, most of it's either myself or it's my assistant right now. Okay. Most of the phone calls end up being really quick, where it's like kind of a one that, they all come into voicemail, and then so a lot of people will just kind of hang up. A lot of people, you can tell that they're not really serious that by their voicemail, that because they leave a message that says that, they were just curious to see what it was about or whatever. And then you get the ones that you can kind of tell that there's something there, and those are the ones that we end up, returning a phone call and following up with them. Okay.
And then, who's the negotiator of the group? Is that you?
So, yeah.
Mr. Sales Training?
Yeah, oftentimes, or it'll be my one of my partners as well. Okay. Particularly if it's one that we're going to buy as a fix and flip ourselves. Then my partner is actually, so he handles the rehab aspect of the properties. So that's kind of an area that I have not invested the time into in terms of learning, and it's just something I'm not that interested in learning, is all the rehab costs and the construction aspect of it. So if it's something that we are probably going to buy ourselves to fix and flip, then he'll usually go out there and do kind of a little inspection of the property. And then he actually runs the crew. So it's my job to find the properties, buy it, get the funding in line, and then once we buy it, then I hand it off to him, and he handles the rehab of the whole deal.
All right, excellent. So if you're just joining us, Pat Petrini is a best-selling author, top mentor in the direct selling space, international speaker, consultant for some of the top network marketing companies, and a very successful real estate investor who also helps other investors find more leads and opportunities. And what we're talking about today is 3 different strategies that you can use to 10x your leads and opportunities for your real estate investing space. And if you have any specific questions for Pat, please just feel free to drop them in the comment section of Facebook. We'll try to answer them during the show. And if you leave some comments after the show has been aired, then either myself or Pat will still follow up with you. Just address us personally in the comment section. So, okay, Pat. So just so we have some context about the power of the lead sort of systems that you're using, can you give us some ballpark numbers as to the number of phone calls? I don't know if you use a website, but any website leads, emails, or what would you get on an average given month from your different lead sources?
So total number of leads, I actually am not sure what total number of leads would be, because it depends on what you call a lead. Like, we are making probably in a week, I'd say we're making probably about 400 to 500 offers a week, and most of that is being done through email. And then and that's kind of with our MLS strategy. We're making like 400 to 500 offers almost purely on the MLS per week. And then direct mail, I kind of figure when you send somebody a letter, it's kind of like sending somebody an offer, but only a percentage of those, about 1 or 2% actually turn into leads that call us and things like that. Right. But thousands of direct mail pieces that go out though. And that's been a really big piece of our strategy over the last couple of years is direct mail. So we send out, thousands of those when we're doing a direct mail campaign. Total number of leads that we're handling on a weekly or on a monthly basis it's somewhere in the thousands. I'm not totally sure what that number would be.
So with respect to your, if you're doing 500 or so per week on MLS, you must have some sort of set formula as to, they're asking this much. I mean, okay, we've looked at this criteria. It's been on the market long enough. It's in our price range. It has a few of the, in the notes field, it, has a couple things that pique our attention. So, yep. And basically you're just getting your realtor to fire off an offer, like automatically,
we're actually just, we kind of look for certain criteria, and we just fire off these emails to these realtors that are listing some of these different properties. And honestly, I know a lot of people's realtors' head explodes every time you mention the word Zillow, but we actually use Zillow for quite a bit of what we're doing, because even though Zillow is not perfectly accurate, it's not anywhere close to perfectly accurate. In when you're doing kind of bigger numbers, making lots of offers, it's oftentimes close enough, and so we can, without having to spend the time of actually running comps on every single property that we want to make an offer on, we kind of, in many cases, will use what does Zillow think it's worth approximately. We might take some percentage off of that number and then fire off that an email with an offer with that number in it, just to get the conversation started. That doesn't mean, that's the whole point of all of this stuff, right? Is sending the letter or sending an email with an offer in it. Whatever number is in that offer is not a final thing. It can be renegotiated up or down or whatever we have to do, but it's just to get the conversation started and to see how this person responds to that number. And then we'll go from there. So
you're using Zillow as the sort of the starting point as to estimated value of the property based on the information that you have, and then you're picking a certain percentage. You'll say, if Zillow says it's worth $200,000, then we're going to pick X percentage below $200,000. That's going to be our offer.
Yep, exactly right. And that X percentage, honestly, there's not a magic number there either. That's something that we play with, and we're always changing, because if you go, if you did like a pretty low number, if you did like 60% of Zillow, then you're going to get very few responses to that because it's so low, right? But the ones that you get, if you get some responses from that, the ones that you get are maybe going to be some good deals in there, but you're just not going to get very many responses. If you go with 90% of Zillow or 95% or something like that, you're going to get tons of responses, but most of them are not going to be good deals. You're going to have a lot of renegotiating to do in there, because they'll respond to you at your offer at 95% of Zillow, but you're going to have to renegotiate down for most of those deals in order to make it actually a good deal. So, that's just a sliding scale, and you want to kind of see what the number is that seems to work for you in your market. And you might change it up based on the strategy that you're using too. But that's a great way of just getting a lot of activity happening, and like I said, getting the conversation started.
Is there any chance you can share like a range that you're sort of in the ballpark?
Yeah. We're usually in the between like 70 and 85.
Okay.
Yeah, so somewhere kind of in there.
All right. So once you get all these deals, obviously, you can't do them all yourself. You have a couple of partners, but you can only do so many fix and flip jobs at once. So talk to me about the importance of a buyer's list and how someone gets started to build a buyer's list, so that, if you're getting an abundance of opportunities where you have signed contracts, maybe you've got 5 or 10 a month or whatever.
Right.
Obviously, in most cases, people can't do them all. So talk to me about the importance of the buyer's list and how people get started finding effective buyers.
Yeah, absolutely. So the buyer's list, of course, that's, you want a good, that's the two things we're looking for really is sellers and buyers all the time. So the buyer's list is as critical as, finding sellers is in many cases, if you're not going to be buying them all yourself. So the buyer's list, you obviously need to start one. I think the easiest way to start one initially is just through like if we're talking not any cost outlay, is actually just through good quality networking. Everybody knows, most people know some realtors. Every realtor knows 100 other people that are in real estate. They all know a bunch of people. So if you just kind of like were to, I take people through this activity of like, writing down everybody that they know that's involved in real estate in one way or the other, contacting those people, letting them know what you're up to, seeing what kind of contacts they may have, because they may have like some pretty serious buyers that they work with, or they're clients of theirs or whatever. And if you actually find a good deal and they've got, they know some buyers, then you're kind of doing those buyers a service by bringing your deal to them. So you can really get a list of some serious buyers by just through doing some good networking with anybody that you know that's in the real estate space at all. Excellent. The other thing that you can do is just direct mail. If somebody's wanting to spend a few bucks on getting a buyer's list going, is you can oftentimes have your title company or build a relationship with a title company. We have our title company that does this for us usually, is pulls a list of everybody, of all the cash buyers in a certain area. So everybody who's bought multiple properties for cash in these 2 zip codes or something like that, they could pull that list for us, and then we can send letters to those buyers saying, hey, we get great deals on properties regularly. If you'd like to be on our buyers list, please let us know. They could go to our website and join our buyers list, or they can send us an email or whatever you want to do. And that's a relatively cheap way to build your buyers list as well. And many of those people are very serious buyers also. So and then I guess the last thing I would just say is that when you find a serious investor, when you find a serious buyer that's actively buying, then try to just really figure out what it is that they're buying. Because in some cases we're actually we've got these buyers that are really, really great buyers, and they know exactly what they want. They know what their numbers are. So we can actually set up campaigns designed just to find properties for those specific buyers, right? If they're a serious enough buyer. And so we do that with some of our buyers as well.
Great. Good idea. Just give us an idea. I know you're sending out thousands of offers a month. Just give us an idea how many deals or contracts you're actually getting, houses you're getting under contract or contract signed you're getting per month on an average.
Yeah. On an average, I would say probably an average of 15 properties under contract or so.
Wow.
Kind of right in there, 10 to 15, under contract, and not every single one of those turns into a deal, because some of them were wholesaling, and it wasn't as good of a deal as it needed to be in order for one of our buyers to pick it up, and it wasn't a good enough deal for us to buy it ourselves. So some of those just end up kind of slipping through the cracks, but and then some of them we actually do buy ourselves, and we do the fix and flip, and then the rest of them we're wholesaling off to our other buyers.
Excellent. Yeah, that's one every 2 days or one every 3 days, at least getting them under contract to do your due diligence and then determine if it's going to wholesale or you're going to keep it yourself is great. So if you guys are just joining me, I'm speaking with Pat Petrini. Pat's a best-selling author, top mentor in the direct selling space, international speaker, a consultant for some of the top network marketing companies, and a very successful real estate investor who also helps other investors find more leads and opportunities. And we're talking about the system and what Pat has put into place for generating leads and opportunities. And he's sending out thousands of offers a month, and he's actually getting somewhere around 10 to 15 properties under contract per month. So if you have any questions specifically for Pat, just leave them on. Just put them in the comments, and we'll try to get to them before the end of the show. I'm just going to give a couple shout outs to some people that joined, and while we've been Pat and I have been chatting. Russell Westcott joined. Hey, Russell, how are you doing? Paul joined from Edmonton. Jason P. Jordan joined. Formerly he was living in Germany, but I know he's moving to Italy, so I'm not sure where he's at now. Welcome, Jason. And Joey Ragona joined from Ontario. Welcome, guys. I'm talking to Pat Petrini from Phoenix, Arizona. So if you have any specific questions for Pat about any of the lead generating systems that he's using to be able to put together 10 to 15 contracts a month, definitely leave those in the comments field. We'll try to get to them. So Pat, let's get into the money part. because everyone wants to know how much they can make either doing this business. So out of the 10 to 15 deals that you're getting under contract, how many of those deals would you do yourself, and then how many would you sell? And then how much would you make on the ones that you're selling? Right.
So ones that we would do ourselves out of 10 to 15 is probably 2 to 3. Okay. And then let's say of the rest, let's say, maybe 7 of them end up being wholesales. So I guess we've got, anywhere from 5 to 10 actual deals done would be probably average, including the ones we're going to buy ourselves and the ones that are wholesale. And then you've got 5 to 7 or even 5 to 10. If it was a lower month, 5 to 10 of ones that we got under contract that just weren't the right deal and we couldn't make it happen for whatever reason. Okay. But 5 to 10 deals actually getting done. If we're actually doing the fix and flip ourselves, then I would say probably our average is average profit on that is probably 20 to 30,000. That is our actual takeaway profit. That's not after taxes, but it's after everything else. Yep. It's probably 20 to 30,000 on our fix and flips. And then if we're wholesaling, usually our default wholesale fee is 5,000. Unless there's something that has some more margin in it, then it could be anything. It could be 10, 15, 20,000. But yeah, probably on average with our wholesales, we're making like 5 to 7,000 on each of those.
So you're doing somewhere around 5 to 7 wholesales. So that's minimum 25, 35K a month. Yep. You're doing at least 2 properties yourself, and you're making about 20 grand per property. What's the turnaround time on those? Are you doing 30, 60, 90-day turnarounds?
Yeah, usually from close to close, we're usually about 90 days.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So then you'll wait until those ones actually finish before you guys would pick up more, or would you?
No, we'll pick up more. Yeah, we can at any given time we can have like 6 to 8 fix and flips going at one time.
So basically every month you're closing 2.
Right,
so
right.
You're selling two. So
exactly.
That's 40 grand selling 2. You've got 40 grand coming in there. You've got another 25 or so coming in. So that's $65,000 worth of profit coming in every single month, give or take.
Yeah, and it's always. I mean, we run. Our operation is obviously like we do a lot of deals, but we have kind of a fairly small team. We've got a big crew so we've got a pretty good sized crew that handles all the fix and flips and everything. So we keep them busy with all the fix and flips. But 1 month, if my wife and I are out of town and traveling a lot, then we might do less deals just because we were there to do a little bit less of the stuff. And then another month might be a really good one. But yeah, give or take, those are kind of our average numbers that we're trying to make happen on a month-to-month basis.
That's excellent. That's a great income, great lifestyle. So obviously this all comes at a cost. So the marketing comes at a cost.
Yeah.
So the other stuff is, when you're hiring your crews, obviously that's an expense which goes to the projects, but the marketing comes at a cost because you actually have to put the money up front to do the marketing in order to generate the leads that's going to turn into money. So can you give us an idea how much you're spending on your marketing, either direct mail or referral fees or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely. So referral fees, we actually don't really do much as far as referral fees, just because it's just legally it's a little hard to do referral fees legally in Arizona. So usually most of our referrals are actually from realtors, and so what they're just going to get is their commission for doing that. So that's kind of how most of our referrals work. With the letters, it really is. It's about a dollar a letter. I think we're about 90 cents a letter for every for envelope, stamped, and the whole deal. Letter in the mail is about 90 cents per, and so it might be a little bit less than that. Maybe our rate is about 85 or something like that. But kind of right in that range from our printing company. So when we're doing big campaigns, and usually we'll do when we're doing a direct mail campaign, we'll usually do between $3,000 to $5,000 worth. And so we haven't done one in maybe 2 or 3 months because we've been hitting the MLS so hard the last few months, and we've been really kind of like building up our MLS strategies and kind of automating those.
Right.
But usually we'll do $3,000 to $5,000 a month of direct mail, and sometimes we'll be doing more than that. But that's kind of what we've done, what we've averaged probably.
And your MLS strategy really doesn't cost you anything?
Yeah, the MLS strategy is just time, because it's just a matter of jumping on the MLS, looking for the right deals, sending an email off to the agent, and again, that's a lot of what we're automating so that it doesn't take as much time, but it's really free for the most part.
Right. So I just want to make sure I got this straight. So probably about every 2 to 3 months you're doing a marketing campaign. Maybe you'll spend max $5,000, but from that marketing campaign, as well as the MLS, which is a free strategy, and you're getting referrals from all of your partners, from all of the other realtors that you're dealing with. So you're getting a lot of that, which is basically the cost for that is built right in because you're just going to pay the commission to them. So at the most, you're spending maybe $5,000, let's say $6,000 every 3 months, so $2,000 a month to make. I can't remember that number, but it's like $65,000 a month.
Sure. Yep.
So basically, you're investing $2,000 a month to make $65,000. That's a great return on your investment.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, and that's part of the reason why we've been kind of hitting the MLS hard lately is because it doesn't even have the upfront cost of the direct mail, and we're getting good results with MLS. So we've been kind of focusing on that a little bit more because it's even a better return on investment. But most of the deals that we've done over the last 3 years have actually been direct mail. That's been like probably 75% of the deals we've done over the last few years have come from our direct mail campaigns. But just lately that we're spending more time on the MLS. So
do you have one realtor that's doing all of your MLS stuff? That's quite a few offers.
Yeah, no, we just do it ourselves because so I have one of my partners is a broker, and so it's through him that we have access to the MLS and everything. Right. But in terms of actually sending all those offers, I think that if you had a realtor doing that for you, you'll burn that realtor out so fast because that's just a lot of work for them. So we just actually are kind of automating that ourselves so that we are finding these properties that meet certain criteria on the MLS. We figure out our number, we fire off an email, and we don't need a realtor to do any of that for us. We're just sending off the emails ourselves, having our system do it for us. Right.
And are you sending it sort of in a letter of intent format or on the actual contracts that your real estate uses?
We actually just do it with it's just a normal email, and then attached is our own contract.
Okay.
And that's because technically the offer is coming from me. I'm not technically a real estate agent, and so I can't technically use the contracts that they want us to use. Right. They have to write it up. But so what I'm doing is I'm sending an email with my contract. And the only reason I'm attaching my contract is because it's a written offer. And I'm just trying to have the strength of like this being a written offer that I'm sending to them, even though we know we're not going to use the contract that I'm sending to them. We know it's going to get rewritten up on their form. But the other little carrot that is fun to use on the MLS though is that when I'm approaching these realtors that are listing these properties and I'm sending an offer to them, it's very clear in my email that I'm sending to them that says that I am not a realtor and I'm not represented by any realtor. So if you would like to, so there's no other realtor to split your commissions with on this, right? So they can potentially make twice as much commission by getting their seller to accept my offer as they would to accept an offer from somebody who has a realtor representing them. So I'm sending them a written offer saying, hey, if you want, rewrite this up on the approved realtor forms with the same terms and everything, and then you can represent us both and make twice the money. Right.
Actually, that's a great strategy, actually. And
you're
just coming across.
It's not supposed to work that way because the agent is always supposed to have the fiduciary responsibility of their seller. Right. But hey, the truth is that if you kind of wave this little commission underneath their nose, there's a lot of realtors that suddenly really like your offer even more than the ones that are a little bit higher than yours, and they really get their seller to believe to understand why they should work with you. So the realtor actually kind of becomes, your salesperson a little bit to the seller if they're intrigued enough by that extra commission.
One last question about the strategy when you're sending that to the to the realtor. Are you sort of sending it, making it appear that you're just the young couple looking to buy a home, or are you doing it as an investor?
Yeah, no, when I send that email to a realtor, I usually I'm trying to leverage my background and credibility. So I'm trying to, so in the email it says, that we're a cash buyer. We've bought, X number of homes over the last few years. So we're a serious buyer. We can do all cash. We can show proof of funds. We can, close quickly if necessary. Yeah. I'm trying to really sell myself as an easy seller or an easy buyer to work with.
Excellent. Well, Pat, thank you very much for being on the show. That's all the time that we have for today. So I personally want to thank you, Pat, for being on the show. My pleasure. Talking to about your real estate investing business, how you're generating leads, what sort of numbers that you're doing. Just being so transparent and opening up. I really appreciate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post all of Pat's contact information in the comments of this, as well as we'll put them on the today's show notes and make those available. Also, Pat has so generously given a free gift to all the people who are interested, and you can get that by going to www.realestateshortcut.com. And I'll also put that URL in the comments as well as the show notes so that you can, if you're watching this after the fact or you're watching this from the website, you'll be able to access that information as well. So thank you, Pat, for giving everyone sort of some free information on the shortcuts on how they can actually generate more leads in the real estate business. So everyone show Pat some love by hitting that like button, the love button. Get a flurry of likes and loves going across the screen. So Pat, thank you very much for being on the show, and I look forward to catching up with you again real soon. So everyone else, just stick around for my closing remarks. Again, thanks a lot, Pat. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for joining me on today's Real Estate Investing Show. Now, in today's show, we focused on 4 M's, defining leads and opportunities for the purpose of getting homes under contract. Thank you for joining me on today's Real Estate Investing Show. Now, in today's show, we focused on 4 M's, defining leads and opportunities for the purpose of getting homes under contract to either wholesale or keep for your own portfolio. Now, wholesaling can be a great way to get into real estate investing, but can also be a hard road to travel. Now, the first M that we spoke about was having a marketing strategy. Having an effective marketing strategy and campaign
absolutely.
is what we're really
all right, cool, man. Well, thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity. More than one strategy to generate those leads that turn into opportunities. So don't be afraid to implement or incorporate some new strategies into your business. Now, whether they be online, direct mail, or referral partners, having multiple avenues open can increase the amount of traffic that you have coming into your business. Thank you. You too, John.
Market. It's vital that you are very clear on who your ideal target market is and what their pains, fears, or frustrations or ambitions are, and what is the ultimate solution that they're searching for that will take care of their challenges. Now, the third M is message. Knowing what to say and how to say it is so crucial for your market and getting them to take action. The material needs to speak to the market in such a way that it causes them to take the appropriate action. And that action is getting them to contact you to come and help them solve their problem. The fourth or final M is medium. What medium are you going to use to get that message to your market? You have a variety of options available to you, including online, direct marketing, and building a referral system, just to name a few. Now, using a number of mediums can be time consuming. So having systems in place to automate the process as much as possible can decrease your time commitment and increase the number of people that you can reach, which in turn, if you have the right message and the right market, you'll increase your leads and opportunities, which also increases your deals or clients. So if you'd like help with any of the 4 M's, either marketing strategy, market, message, or medium for your business, then contact me directly through my website, johnamccabe.com, or visit my resources site where you can get free resources as well as paid training and some done-for-you systems that have already addressed the 4 M's. The link for the resources site is listed below, as well as it'll be included in the show notes for today's show. Now again, Thanks for watching the show, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, for we have another great episode of the John A. McCabe Show, where we help entrepreneurs and businesses accelerate their authority and grow their business. So for me and the John A. McCabe Show, I wish you an amazing day and live life to abundance. Thank you for joining me on today's real estate investing show. Now in today's show, we focused on 4 M's, defining leads and opportunities for the purpose of getting homes under contract to either wholesale or keep for your own portfolio. Now wholesaling can be a great way to get into real estate investing, but it can also be a hard road to travel. Now the first M that we spoke about was having a marketing strategy.